This is just outrageous. Go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm calling for is a nationwide, even worldwide demonstrations on all the college campuses. Against this New World Order, against, especially here, against the free, they're trying to give us these free speech zones and all this stuff. I mean, you don't want to get out there and get yourself killed like Kent State, but there's things that we can do. We got to stand up. I mean, these students, if I was a student in another university and I saw what they did to those guys over at Pittsburgh there, I'd be like, man, how fast can I get in these people's faces,
Well, see, what's happening is if they set the precedent to be able to beat people up, use police dogs on old women in neighborhoods, then they can chill free speech. And that's what this is all about, telling people if you protest, you'll be put on a terror list. They are the terrorists, the secret police terrorists doing that. And because they know that the changes to the dollar, the changes to our way of life, the tyranny, people are going to rebel. So they're trying to cow us and make us submit. Right now, these are psyops, but more importantly than just protesting, and I think that's important, is calling into talk radio, starting websites, starting flyering campaigns, because they can't stop you coming out of the middle of nowhere putting up flyers with different issues. That's what our Joker poster contest was about. And I'm going to announce the contest tomorrow. I promised the Lewis one. I've just been so far behind, got behind with Fall of the Republic, but I'm going to do that tomorrow. The issue here is that we've done this to show people the power of just getting active. I appreciate your call. What are other things we can do, Rick, Mike Adams, in your point, to really rattle the cage of the establishment and have the people's voice be heard? Or do you see my point about what will happen if we just let this chilling effect take place?
Oh, absolutely. The ruling class right now is ruling by fear and intimidation. And more and more people are waking up. I want to point this out about the vaccine. A recent poll showed that 60% of parents are refusing to give their children the vaccine. That's a huge statistic, Alex. That means that people like you and I are winning this information campaign that against all the multi-million dollars worth of public relations and advertising and promotional pushes by the drug companies, more than half of the parents still won't vaccinate their children against swine flu. That's a victory, and we need more victories like that because the truth will prevail here. All we got to do is keep on getting the truth out there, help to awaken other people around us, turn them on to the truth, and we will ultimately be victorious in this, I believe. But it's going to be a difficult process. And
by the way, now is the time, as the tyranny comes in, as everything we talked about beforehand unfolds, we have amazing credibility right now. We've got to reach out to everybody and speak out now because we could wake people up 10 years ago, but not in these numbers. People are ready to hear the truth. The establishment is there trying to lead them around into more tyranny right now. We've got to be there to say, no, there's an alternative.
That's exactly right. The American people are smart people. They can figure it out if they have access to the right information. Now, the people in power are trying to keep the Americans blind. But fortunately, websites like yours, Prison Planet, and many others out there, and the information that you are getting out there, this is working. So keep up, keep doing it. Thank goodness for what you're doing there, Alex.
Well, we're going to go to break and come back and take some final calls. Thank God for what you're doing. Your sites are rivaling ours in size, which excites me. So many other people in alternative media think we're competing with each other. My show's been successful because I bring the little guys on, the big guys, everybody in between. I just want freedom for my family. I understand I'm in a race against the globalist, and I'm not doing this for fame or fortune. We certainly try to fund ourselves and be comfortable and have some assets so we can defend ourselves if something comes up. We need to be strong and powerful, so we're trying to become strong and powerful and challenge the system. That's why I've noticed CIA and FBI funded, and it's come out with some of these groups that they are FBI funded, try to create racial division, try to make the liberty movement be about race or religion. They try to divide us. They constantly fight with each other. They do this not just out of jealousy or greed, but really to divide us. That's why they attack Ron Paul. That's why they attack me. That's why they attack you. The establishment knows they're discredited. They can't attack us from their high perches. They have to attack us from rent-a-mob, false grassroots. And that's because we're effective and it's scaring the system. So I take those attacks as a blessing.
Yep. Well said, Alex. Let's keep up the good work here. Are you going to break right now?
Yeah, we're going to break. I want to get your take on that and take more calls on the other side. Mike Adams, the Health Ranger, is our guest. Stay with us. More of your calls straight ahead.
Do you understand how dark it is? How far down the line we are? How late it is?
The FBI has reissued a report they put out 7 years ago saying cell phones, Farmer's Almanac, maps are all signs you're a terrorist. Go ahead, if the police pull you over, go ahead and put you in a terror database for life. No firearms, no liberty, no due process. I mean, Mike Adams, is that not the ultimate tyranny where they just put you on secret lists for no reason? And 2 years ago, one of the head federal marshals in Denver went public and said, we have a quota of innocent people to put on terror list for life. And they've put 1,200,000 Americans on it we know of since a year ago when they made the list secret.
Yeah, this is one of the processes of tyranny, is putting people on these secret lists outside of the normal process of law, right? Of due process. I mean, this is the way to circumvent the Constitution, and they are really clever at this. They're really good at this, and I think it's going to get a lot worse, Alex, before it gets better. Something has to happen here. The American people have got to rally again and to stand up for their freedoms and their rights and to protect the U.S. Constitution, which I thought was a valid document. You know, when I was growing up in school and I was being taught American history, I thought that thing still applied. Only as an adult do you learn that it's been circumvented.
Well, I don't think people realize the process of tyranny. Once an elite decides to be ruthless and go all the way, and they believe human life is not just a cheap but a negative, once they make that decision, the sky's the limit. And it's now the sky is the limit. We're going to keep you another 20 minutes and take calls. We appreciate you joining us. Talk to Chris, Tanya, Marianne, Dee, Bob, and others. But it sounded like when I mentioned the concerted attacks that are clearly funded against anybody exposing the corruption, Ron Paul isn't making people take flu shots. Ron Paul isn't raising people's taxes. You're not making people take flu shots. You're not sending SWAT teams to people's homes. But all this alternative media attacks anybody who's real. I notice we all get attacked by these concerted operations, mainstream and alternative. And as much as I'd like to believe it's just jealous people, more and more it's being proven it's government. And that's their counter, is to try to throw up such a screen of arguing and fighting and infighting that nobody can ever get together. And I think when you see somebody being attacked and lied about, that's the seal that they're good and can be trusted.
Well, there's no question. We've been subjected to attacks that were organized and funded by, we think, pharmaceutical companies or their front companies. And this has just been going on for years. We hardly even really talk about it anymore. It's just a routine part of being a publisher of true information. I mean, the only way to not be harassed in our system today is to lie on behalf of the corporation. If you go out and you say nice, happy things about the drug companies and about the oil companies and about all the politicians who are lying to us and spending us into complete bankruptcy, if you say happy things about those people, you'll be left alone. You won't be harassed by anybody. It's only when you go out and start asking questions, like what Ron Paul does every single day. Ron Paul is being attacked precisely because he is effective. And that's the same reason that you and I are being attacked, Alex.
Well, and also it's a military tactic. Whenever they deny they're trying to forcibly inoculate nurses, and they are, or they lie and say there's no plan to get rid of the dollar as they openly have debates about doing it, it's a denial so that we just debate whether it exists or not instead of having a real debate about whether we want it or not or if it's legal or lawful. And it's the same thing by making it about Alex Jones being bad or Ron Paul being bad or Mike Adams being bad or Dr. Stan Monteith being bad. Then even our defenders spend their time defending us instead of going out and warning new people. So that's why I always tell my listeners, don't defend me. Go out and reach new people and warn them about fluoride in the water. Warn them about GMO food. Warn them about vaccines. Warn them about the attack on Iran and lying about their processing centers for uranium and how that's a hoax. Do not defend me. My family doesn't get saved if you defend me. Wake everybody up. Spend your time doing that, and then all of us can be saved from this tyranny. Back in 1 minute with Mike Adams and your phone calls. I'm Alex Jones.